Hi, I'm Craig Shields, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, John Perlin, and we're talking about John's book, Let It Shine, the 6,000 Year Story of Solar Energy. John, let me ask you this. In the few minutes we have remaining, let's talk about present day. Let's talk about present day technology, economics, and politics. And I guess to keep this at least somewhat simple, let's confine the discussion to the United States. And let me tell you this, that I think that most Americans who read this stuff, in other words, try to follow the energy picture, probably say, well, our Congress is essentially owned by the oil companies. So in other words, they are the most powerful industry in the known universe. And which is why we have no voice of centrist reason in Congress. We have people moving immediately to the right and saying, there's nothing the matter with fossil fuels, and it's American to keep, to drill, baby, drill, and all of this stuff about renewable energy. It's too expensive. It's not manly. They don't say that, but I mean, you referred to earlier about the kind of effeminate nature of solar panels because they're not, you don't have some, 1,000-ton piston banging into something. Here you have...
I would call it the thermodynamic delusion.
There you go. Exactly right. It has to be big and tough if it's going to work. Right. So here you have, but also you have people moving immediately to the left and saying we can't burn another ounce of fossil fuel. We have to stop this afternoon, which is almost equally asinine. So, but I think in terms of politics, the common American, anybody who's following this thing, believes that in truth, we need to employ those economies of scale that you talked about before and invest in the development of renewable energy to the point at which it becomes the deal of the century. In other words, the costs of it are so low that, and the ecologic impact of it is so small that we've gone into what the very popular physicist Michio Kaku talks about a phase one society or whatever. In other words, a society that gets its energy from its local star. So a class one society, I think it is. So, but I think that, again, the common American goes, well, this is a political issue. The reason we're not doing this is not technological, and it's not even really economic, it's political. And that behind the scenes, there are people driven by oil company money deliberately and aggressively squashing development of things like photovoltaics. Can you comment on that, please?
Well, first of all, let's not, it's much more interesting and complex than that.
Okay, good. I hope so.
In that, first of all, we've already talked about, the military is the biggest supporter.
Yes.
Okay, so we have the military, which is not left-wing.
That's true.
Unless something I don't know.
No, I think you're correct in that.
Okay.
But I think that's a kind of an outlier.
Okay. But second of all, it was the oil industry that began the terrestrial or the earth uses of solar photovoltaics.
To enhance oil recovery?
Well, it's kind of in a way, yes. At first, they needed photovoltaics to power the navigation lights and horns of oil rigs at sea in the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
So once again, it's getting used to it. So they got used to that. So then they started using it for what's called cathodic protection, which means eliminating corrosion in the pipelines and the oil and the well casings.
Okay.
So actually, it was photovoltaics, and that's what makes photovoltaics so interesting. Is a omnivorous opportunist. In 1981, there was this huge oil spill in the aquifer of Saudi Arabia. The king of Saudi Arabia said, "You're not going to use any more oil unless you can drill any more, pump any more oil out until you can promise me this won't happen again." So they used photovoltaics for every quarter mile to zap the corrosive molecules that were destroying the pipelines. to give the King of Saudi Arabia that guarantee.
Okay.
So here we have the oil industry, the biggest investor in solar photovoltaics for the first 14 or 18 years, providing a lot of money for R&D, actually building the types of solar modules that are in use today.
Okay,
So
but
we
let-
have,
yes.
no, let me continue. So, the real people who are scared of photovoltaics is the utility industry.
Yes, well, I understand that too.
Okay, it's the utility industry is the real, what do they say, the 8,000-pound gorilla?
Yeah.
Because it challenges the whole way we do things.
Absolutely, you're
Alright.
absolutely right. But if we could just, and I wrote about this coincidentally
Right.
just this morning,
Oh,
about
sure.
the death spiral of the
Oh, yeah,
utilities
okay,
and
okay.
how distributed generation,
Right.
when people go off the grid, it raises the prices for everybody else, encouraging more people to come off the grid, et cetera. So the so-called death spiral of that. But let's, if we could, I'm interested to know, as a matter of fact, let's take a break and we'll come right back.
Okay?